Over the next few weeks, I'm going to teach myself how to cook on top of the wood stove. When I say wood stove, it's actually a multi-fuel burner. Now, actually, it's not particularly big. That is 13 and a half, 14 that way, and it's just shy of 16 that side. And what I've got quite a good selection of bits and pieces. We've had them for a couple of years now. I actually bought the cast iron casserole here specifically for the wood stove. We bought it because it's oval. And what I'll do is I'll show you how I'm going to set it all up on the top just now. I have the kettle there, and we've had that for years. We always, through the winter months, heat our hot water for coffee and whatever on there. I've got some little round casseroles. Let me just show you, give you an idea of the size of them. Not particularly big, that one. Plenty big enough, probably for a full tin of carrots or peas or something. I don't use tin stuff very often, but I maybe will be this year. I've got a fabulous little cast iron skillet thing. My son bought me that, so what I'll show you there, just to give you an idea of size. That is fine, and we have cooked fried eggs on that before, just for a bit of fun in the past. Now, what I'll do is, if you give me a minute, I can't do this one-handed because obviously cast iron is really heavy, but I'll set up the top and show you how it's going to look. Let's start with the little cast iron little pots there. Two of them fit one each side of the chimney breast thingamy with that little skillet in front. Now the skillet is fabulous for just, as I say, frying or sealing meat, blah, 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 blah. And it came with a wooden stand. There we go. It came with that wooden stand there, so nothing's going to burn. So there we go. Two little cast iron pots. There we go. I can still have the cast iron pots on the back there with the kettle on. So the kettle I'm going to keep on permanently. I'll use it for tea. If I want tea or coffee, I'll just put a cupful in. But if I want to wash up, I'll just sit it on there and leave it full up to the safe mark, obviously, because let's have a little look. I think it's on there. Look, there's a safety mark on the side of the kettle. Le Creuset. Haha, a bit posher. So anyway, that's the two little pots with the kettle, so they can be sitting there simmering away, keeping warm, doing whatever. Come back in a second. There we go, that's the two little pots with the big casserole. And what I'll do is, once the casserole's up to a heat, I do have a metal trivet. I'll put the metal trivet on top just to raise it up off the serious, fierce, direct heat. I don't want to be burning anything. As I say, I have done it in the past just for a bit of fun. But what I will do is I will try and do some cooking videos and show you what kind of things I am going to be cooking on it. So, as I say, there's the big cast iron casserole. By goodness, there's some weight in it, mind. And there's the little what they call them, casserole pots. We do have, let me just put that on there, a fan. I'll move that round a bit. So the fan can still continue to spin. The fan can still push some heat out into the room, so I'm not losing any heat. And this thing is like a great big radiator. Once it's lit, and once it is lit for the winter, I'm going to leave it lit all winter long. We don't burn it hot through the night. In fact, we don't burn it hot through the day because we don't like the house too hot. But as I say, there we go. We've got the fan on, two little casserole pots and the big cast iron casserole. Come back in a second. There we go. If I nudge the cast iron casserole around just a little bit, I can fit the cast iron casserole, the kettle and the two little pots. Or I could take the kettle off and use a little frying pan thing. So it's going to be blooming useful this year. So if you have a multi-fuel stove and you want to learn to cook on it, if you've got any ideas, let me know and I'll give it a try.